Hey, it's 5:00, so we're gonna open the Rules and Legislative Committee. All the members here with the exception of, so the next thing is prayer, and in prayer, I'm gonna read Psalm 100, which is a psalm. It's like prayers. The Hebrews used to say it's a short psalm, and it was John Wesley's favorite psalm. He said he tried to say it every day. It reads, this is Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. It is he that made us. We are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name. For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. And that's amen.
Amen.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is approval of the November 19th, 2024 Rules and Legislative Minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Comment period. I didn't see any outside. Does anybody want to be recognized? And you want to be recognized? No. I'll recognize you in any other period. Being none, we'll go on to the next recommendation. Is consideration of placing the December 10th, 2024 Commission meeting minutes on the January 14th, 2025 County Commission agenda.
Now I make a motion, we place those on the agenda without a recommendation.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next item is consideration of placing the notary applicants on the January 14th, 2025 County Commission agenda as requested by County Clerk Donna Thomas.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The fourth item is consideration of placing the County Highway Department road list on the January 14th, 2025 County Commission agenda. Just a formality.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next one's a veterans report. It was in our packet. The veterans came by the office were up a bit. They were 56 in October, 70 were seen in November. And the number transported was down a little bit. It went from 65 in October to 46 in November. For the year, and we'll go on to the totals there, they have seen 734, this is up through November, 734 veterans in the office with visits, and they've transported 578 veterans to the VA hospitals. Is it? Yeah, Mr. Ely. Does anybody have any questions? If you got some comments, you can bring us up to speed on anything you'd like.
Just one quick thing. So between Bedford County Senior Services Providers and the DAR chapter locally, along with Cooking with a Veteran Dave Rogers, they've donated a lot of personal hygiene, just good bags, and $100 Kroger cards to our office, so that way we can give out to needy vets
That's awesome.
if need be.
Wow.
And it's a big turnout. We've already given about half of what was given to the office out to veterans in need.
Good. Wonderful. That's a great report. I'm glad to hear such great things going on here in the county, particularly taking care of our veterans.
Yes.
Any other questions for Mr. Ely? Thank you, sir. I appreciate your service. Okay, the next is clinic report. Is just for our own information only. The medical report in November, they saw 80 patients, and then dental in November, the dental report, they had seen 65 patients, so that's pretty consistent with what they usually do. And next on Jenny's for our information only is the Ag Center report, and Mr. Commissioner Anderson, you're the chairman, so you bring us up to
Nothing
speed.
big here. We talked about doing something like gazebo out there, and the fair board came to us and said they may want to do the upgrade to the gazebo. So right now I'm gonna leave that to the fair board and see what they want to do, because we might put a metal roof on it, do something, because the roof's coming apart a little bit. But the fair had some ideas, and I'm gonna let them go through their stuff. They can bring it to us. We'll come up with something on the gazebo. The only other thing we had to do is replace a hydraulic hose on the tractor, and pretty much, it was pretty status quo. I have a couple of guys that are out with surgery, so I have a couple of board members that are out. I know David Mulder, vice chair, wish him the best, and Jeremy Wills both had surgery, so they're recovering right now.
Very good. Any questions for Commissioner Anderson concerning the? Okay, being none, we'll go next if there's no questions on the Ag Center. Next was old business. Normally we do the standing committees. Being the Rules and Legislative Committee does act as a nominating committee. They shall submit nominations to the standing committee for positions on the Board of Commissioners. All standing committees of the Board of Commissioners shall be elected annually by the majority of the commissioners at the January term of the board. Over the last few weeks, and then even some of this feedback that I got has been from other situations, just minor things. But as far as I know, there's going to be no changes. If there is, we'll take any recommendations. And sometimes the only changes we've had, it was a mutual agreement, and the two commissioners agreed to swap, and then it was approved. And outside of that,
That was me and Commissioner Sanders, wasn't it?
I believe that's right. He wanted on law enforcement, and you wanted on the roads.
Well, he
So
swapped.
it was.
So if anybody wants to swap, of course, that's on the table.
Well, that's all right. And you
Always.
can recommend some other things. I mean, we can recommend a slate of anybody that has to come out of this committee with a vote. And then, of course, the final say-so is with the commission. All we are is a nominating committee, but we can nominate anybody that's requested if it comes out of the rules.
But what
So-
I've sort of heard in the past, just my couple of years being here, is at this point, it's just sort of like if two commissioners want to
Right, swap.
exchange, swap
Right.
out. Yeah.
Well, that's the easiest thing. Other than that, there's going to be a power struggle. And there's going to be some angst and angus with that mess. So we'll wait and see. I had 5 or 6 comments. I had them written down, still got them. But I'm going to forego that to next meeting. It's December, and it's time to be thinking about Christmas and other matters. Make the season bright. And I don't want to go over that. I'll save it for some of the comments because it needs to be aired out, because I had 2 or 3 from the courthouse and property that were a little concerned about matters of things that happened the last year on some of the other standing committees, and then I had some here on the Rules and Legislative of just some of that's happened recently. That's not had some questions asking me about it, and I said, it probably needs to be answered. But being December, and like I said, we'll wait to discuss some of that old business next month. Okay, the other items, and then on our new agenda, we have them. There were 2 items that came from the planning committee and were placed on here. This is rezoning. Andy Haynes is seeking to have 2531 Highway 64 West on map 85, parcel 24, rezoned from A1, which is agriculture forestry, to C1, which is rural center district, sent with a favorable recommendation from the planning commission. Floor's open, and we might have some questions. If anybody's, maybe some, and maybe we can get them answered. I think I see Chris Watts here, and some of the other people are here. The gentleman I got, and you might want to speak too. Is that Andy? Sir, you're welcome to speak. If you don't want, it's up to you. I'm not. Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Haynes?
Whereabouts on the road is that, roughly? Okay.
It's the old school, right?
Old school. Okay. Okay.
Any other questions for the committee or the planning commission? Chris Watson. Chris, you got any comments, or want to you come up and?
Yeah, I'll be happy to talk about it. Either one of these. This one in particular is the old schoolhouse, and a lot of you probably noticed for quite some time it's been in a blighted condition. And Andy's been real good. He's cleaned the place up. He's doesn't know exactly what he wants to do yet, but probably going to be maybe some kind of market or something, but we'll just see kind of how it pans out. But it'll be whatever is allowed in the C1 district. It's very close to what we would consider the center of the wheel community. So it's, it's close to other things. There's really nothing zone C. There's nothing zone commercial in Wheel, although the old store that's been closed down for a long time would have had the use, like a commercial use. It was just a grandfathered commercial use. But this would be the first thing that's actually ever been zone commercial in the Wheel community. And of course, from the Planning Commission's point of view, we've, especially several years ago when we adopted or when we recommended and you guys adopted the rural community village neighborhood district, we were looking at ways to try to reinvigorate these little townships, these little hamlets, if you will, so that the people who live in those areas would have an opportunity for some light commercial opportunities where they might want to go and buy a gallon of milk or a loaf of bread or a gallon of gas or something like that, not have to drive all the way to Chevrolet, and in this case, not have to drive to another county and leave their tax dollars someplace else. And so these little communities are perfect for this type of thing. And so the Planning Commission supported Mr. Haynes' application, and the Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend it.
Okay. Let's go on and take that, and then you stand there and you bring us up to speed on the next. Okay, what's the wishes of the committee?
I got a motion to send it to commission. That sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Ah,
All opposed? Okay, next I'll read, and then you can bring us up to speed.
Okay.
The next item is rezoning the Cesar Romero Diaz and Jimmy Pala and
you got it. You got it.
likewise
Keep going.
are seeking to have Highway 2640, Highway 41A map, zoned from its parcel 48, 33.01, rezoned to A1, which is agriculture forestry, to C2, which is general commercial district, for grading business office and parking space for construction equipment. Sent with an unfavorable recommendation by the Planning Commission. So if you want to bring us up
Okay.
to speed on that.
So I can get as detailed or easy
No,
north.
North.
And whereabouts on the road is that?
Okay, so this, if you can picture where Garrett's Wrecker is at the intersection of 270 and 41A, this would be a parcel just to the south of the Garrett's Wrecker service, but it flags out in and behind Garrett's Wrecker, so it's quite a few bit of acreage in there. They only wanted to rezone 10 of those acres, where it's about 9 point something acres of it, just basically up to the power lines. But the difference in this one is that the C2 classification in our zoning resolution says that those areas that type of zoning is reserved for areas inside a city's urban growth boundary, or in an area that's overdeveloped already, that may be grandfathered but has zoning types or zoning uses that are at a higher classification than what they've applied for. So it does open up opportunities. It doesn't have to be an urban growth boundary, but in this case, it would need to be an urban growth boundary because there's nothing like it there, C2. And so the planning department asked for an unfavorable. That's what we got. Just because the type of commercial uses in the C2 classification versus the C1 classification are really not the type of uses, are not the type of commercial uses. They're a little bit too intense for these type of areas, these rural areas. So that's why it got an unfavorable recommendation.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. White?
This one in particular here, you could be talking about heavy equipment, that type of stuff, which is not a good fit
Yes.
for the road or right where we're talking about.
Right.
Correct. Yes. Right. That's not right.
Yeah. The front side. Where they built that nice entrance. They do plan to live there. I mean, they're living there already. They plan to live there. They just wanted to be able to operate their office there, but they want to build some really big shops in the back, behind their house, and operate there. Yeah. It's Yeah. The house sits far enough off the road, you probably wouldn't notice it so much. But
Okay, is there any other questions for Mr. White? There being none, what's the wishes of the committee?
Make a motion, we send it to the commission with an unfavorable recommendation.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Is there any announcements?
I don't have an announcement, but if you would, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely.
I had somebody call me that's in my district. It actually was Ed Antosh, which was the zoning guy here for many, many years. And he was complaining about the trash being dumped on his road, which is Troop Road. And I said, well, I don't know what we can do about the trash being dumped because there's already a litter, law against littering, but it has to be enforced. And so he was saying there was a lot of garbage bags on the side of the road, and could we do anything? And I said, I don't think so. And I said, maybe call the highway department and ask them, call the sheriff's department and ask them what you need to, who needs, I don't know who needs to come out. And he said, well, they could go out and go through the trash bags and see who dumped it and maybe take them to court. But I said, I don't know who does that. He said, well, the homeowners or the landowner should clean it up. I said, well, I don't agree that the landowner should clean it up because I get tires and mattresses and everything else dumped on me too. Just because there's not a house right there. So anyway, I asked him if he wanted to come tonight and talk to you, but I told him I would bring it up just to see if there was, anything that we recommended. Who do we recommend he call? Because I said I don't.
Sheriff's Department, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Anyway, and I told him if he didn't want to come get it, then I would be glad to bring it to his front yard and then do it and gather it out there. And so he could do whatever he needs to do.
That's how I handled mine.
So I'm gonna say be proactive. From
Yeah.
that standpoint.
Yeah, I had the same thing at my mom's. It kept coming over in her yard. I did call the sheriff's department. They went and talked to them. They still didn't stop it. So the codes went and talked to them. That still didn't stop it. There was trash all over the place. So I went and picked it up and threw it over into their yard. And yeah.
Yeah.
And then I
Wouldn't have
posted
said that.
after I had to pick it up a few times and throw it into their yard. That still didn't stop it. I did take pictures and post it on social media, and they contacted me and said, would you please take this post down? People are calling us trash. And
Well,
I said, if you will guarantee me there will be no more trash on my property, I will take the post down, but I will keep the pictures. And if it comes back in my yard, it's going back up. So I have not had a problem, knock on wood, in 2 years. But I don't know I don't know who you call. They didn't listen to anybody I called. So this one is on Troop Road.
Right,
Yes,
that's the
yes.
point.
it probably falls off on the way.
No, this is I do know this one is, it is intentionally dumped. It's not right on the roadside. It is kind of off the road. But not far back off the road, right? Maybe from here to Linda. Yeah. Yep. That's where it's at. It's where the Reed dump used to be. And so they're just dumping stuff there, and there's tires and cabinets, and people are just, and I've seen furniture and mattresses 2 or 3 times dumped there. It's no house right at that particular spot. So that's what they're doing. I mean, I have trouble with them dumping animals. So,
Need to
I'm just
get
glad
one of
it's not alive, whatever they're dumping.
Need to get one of those cameras that they do for wildlife. Put it on a tree
Well,
and catch them doing it.
the highway department put one up out on Hawthorne Hill where they dumped the mattresses on me and the tires, and they stole the camera.
put a good camera up, you can take pictures while they're stealing
Yeah,
it.
you're
And then
right.
you got them stealing it.
It wasn't
so-
obviously one you can like
Yeah, you
modern
get one of the
times.
expensive ones. If they steal it, you got them.
It's
Yeah.
just living proof. You've got enough convenience centers all over this county. And the guys do a great job. They take mattresses. They take everything.
Yeah.
Now.
They do.
They take everything. There's
Yeah.
no excuse
They're
in this.
fixing to start taking glass and
But some
recycling it.
people are just going to do what they're going to do, guys. And that's just, it is what it
And
is.
that's just part of living in a civilized world. You gotta put it up where it's supposed to be.
Okay, any announcements or any other business come before the committee? Because there's two more. It is December.
Yeah.
Okay, any announcements? Anybody? Okay, being none, we'll entertain a
Motion
motion to
adjourned.
adjourn.
Okay.
They so
So
moved.
moved. Y'all have a